Prep Rally brought to you by the Northwest Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. It's championship weekend in Arkansas as Hot Springs is set to host 12 state championship basketball games starting Thursday and continuing through Saturday night's Class 6A boys state championship game. State tournament play started last week in all classifications, and each day the field narrowed finally until Saturday's semifinal game. So we're going to start in Class 6A. The Bentonville Lady Tigers, now they were the number one seed from the 6A West, and the Fayetteville Lady Bulldogs, they each marched through their sides of the bracket down in Bryant. These were the top two teams in the West after the regular season. Bentonville was the 1 seed, Fayetteville was the 2 seed. Now Bentonville had no problems in its 2 wins. The 6A West champions, they absolutely crushed North Little Rock and Conway to punch its ticket back to the state finals for the second straight year. Lady Tigers coach Tom Halbmaier talked about his team this week.
Let's go back to Saturday afternoon, and you find out it's Fayetteville you get to play instead of Northside. How much did that change the mental part of your thinking?
I mean, it's one beast to the next. You know, both of them are very good teams. You know, both of them create matchup problems for us. You know, I know going in, Fayetteville had the ability to be able to beat Northside. You know, when you have Sasha Goforth and Karaya, you know, both those girls are very good, but they got a very good supporting group with Lyles and Claudia, who runs the point. You know, they got a good group of girls that really knows how to defend and how to score. I was a little bit surprised, to be quite honest, but I mean, playing against Fayetteville, watching them play that type of talent for the last 4 years, I'm not surprised that they're in the finals.
And you get to face them. For the most part, the games over the last, I would say, 3 years have been fairly close, with the exception of the last one.
Well, and I think it's one of those deals where I think we just caught them off night shooting wise, and we shot the ball well. So sometimes that happens, you know. But there've been times where I beat teams by 20, they turn around and they got me the next time, and vice versa. But we know going into the state finals, you can throw all the records out. You can throw everything what you've done in the past. It's a one-game season, and whichever team shows up, whichever team feels comfortable at first, hitting shots and stuff like that, has a real good chance of winning.
Do you feel like you've got an advantage knowing you played there last year, Fayetteville? It's been a while since they played at Hot Springs.
Do we think we have an advantage?
Just knowing that environment and that atmosphere.
I think our kids are prepared. I think they won't be awestruck and stuff like that. You know, since now we're not being able to do a pregame shooting, at least our kids had the advantage of at least going down there last year and be able to play on that court and be able to get some shots up, just kind of get the feel, just kind of understand the environment. But like I said, you know, Fayetteville's a very good team. I mean, they're there for a reason. And right now at this point, I don't know if we ever have. I really don't want to go ahead and say, hey, we got advantage here, advantage there. I just want to go ahead and say, hey, look, whichever team is prepared the most, the best way that they know how, then they have a good chance of winning. And that's what we're trying to do. That's what we're focused on this week is just focus on the little stuff. And if we're capable of doing that, then the big stuff will take care of itself.
While Bentonville was taking care of business on its side of the bracket, Fayetteville was looking for a little revenge on its side of the bracket. The Lady Bulldogs last year lost a heartbreaker to Fort Smith Northside, and that kept them from going to the state championship game. Well, this time it was Fayetteville delivering the heartache. So with just a few seconds left in the game, Fayetteville's Sasha Goforth, you know, she is signed with Oregon State. She had a clutch basket to give her team a 55-53 win against the defending state champion Northside. So we have Fayetteville and Bentonville. They will go at it for the third time this season, Saturday night at 6 o'clock down in Hot Springs for the Class 6A state championship. Now, Bentonville has defeated Fayetteville twice this season. Now, the first meeting, it was a nail biter, went down to the wire with Bentonville winning a close game. The second meeting, Fayetteville, the Bentonville Lady Tigers, I mean, they dominated the game. Miriam Dowda dominated both ends of the floor, almost had a triple-double, had a double-double. So this game, the third game, you know, this one should be an instant classic. I'm not seeing a blowout in this one, probably. This one probably goes down to the wire Saturday down at Hot Springs. If you're planning on going to that game, you need to get there early. It'll be the second session on Saturday. It'll start at 6 o'clock. Get down there early. Two great teams going at it. On the boys' side in the 6A, now the 6A West did not have a team make it to the finals, but Fayetteville came close. They lost to Conway 55-48 in the semifinals. Also, defending state champion Northside, they came up a little short in their bid to defend the state championship, and they fell to Little Rock Central, the surprise team in the 6A state tournament. Central beat Northside 40-37, so it'll be Conway versus Little Rock Central for the 6A boys title Saturday night. They'll play right after the girls game at about 7:30. Now in Class 5A, the Greenwood girls, they're going to the state championship game Saturday. They knocked out defending state champion Little Rock Christian, so the Lady Bulldogs are going to play Nettleton at 11:45 Saturday morning in the 5A girls state championship game. Moving down to Class 4A, the Farmington Lady Cardinals. Now they played in front of a packed home crowd Saturday afternoon about noon over in Farmington, and they absolutely crushed Batesville 76-64. Senior McKenna Van Zant, she led the way for the Lady Cardinals in their win, so they are going to the championship game. They're going to play Friday night at 6 o'clock. And we talked to Farmington coach Brad Johnson about his team's huge win.
I think, first of all, we talk about Star City. They're extremely well coached. Becky Brown's one of the best coaches in the business. She's won a ton of games, and so you got to respect the job that she does. The other thing that just jumps out at you when you watch them play is their athleticism and their physicality on rebounding on both sides. And so, we've got to be able to kind of handle that as best we can. We've got to try to hold our own on the boards. And then the other thing I think that is a big part of what Star City does is they're just phenomenal on the defensive end. They do a great job with everything they do defensively. They're very multiple. Their kids are very versatile. They can guard a lot of different positions. So they just do a really good job of challenging everything you do on the defensive end and not really giving you second chances. You've got to be very efficient with the basketball when you play them.
So the Lady Cardinals will take on undefeated Star City at 6 o'clock Friday for the 4A state championship. Now in Class 3A, Valley Springs, they earned their way to the title game, and they beat a very good Mayflower team on Saturday in a close game, 46-43. What a season for Ryan Johnson, the first-year coach at Valley Springs. His first year there, and he has taken his team to the state championship game. Now they will take on Mountain View Friday at noon. Now Mountain View is the defending state champions. This will be the 5th time that these two teams have played this season. The first two games, Mountain View won those in the regular season. The last two games, it's been Valley Springs winning at both the district and the regional. So this should be quite a game down in Hot Springs. And here's a look at the rest of the state championship matchups this week in Hot Springs. So we're going to take a break right here and leave you with some of the amazing images that we've gotten in the last week. If you'd like to purchase any of these, you may do so on our website at nwaonline.com/photos. When we come back, we'll take a look at the Wrestling Meet of Champions that was held last weekend, and we will also recognize this week's NWADG Athletes of the Week. While basketball was dominating the prep sports scene last week, the prep wrestling season came to an end with the Meet of Champions that was held at the University of the Ozarks in Clarksville. Northwest Arkansas wrestlers claimed 6 individual titles on the boys' side. Charlie March of Rogers Heritage, he won his division, the 195-pound class. Our Paul Boyd covered the Meet of Champions for the Northwest Arkansas Democrat-Gazette.
Please don't take me, please.
Congratulations to all the wrestlers from last weekend's Meet of Champions. Now this week, our Athletes of the Week segment, Charlie March, I've already mentioned him of Rogers. He left no doubt about who the king of the mat is in the state in the 195-pound weight class. He had battled through injuries all season, but he did go 20-0 this season. Well, he earned a 15-0 win against Eduardo Mancilla of Searcy last weekend in the Meet of Champions. His win came 2 weeks after he had won the state championship down in Little Rock. So Charlie is this week's NWADG Boys Athlete of the Week. Now on the girls' side, Maura of Valley Springs, she is this week's Girls Athlete of the Week. Maura, she's a junior. She led the way for Valley Springs in 3 games last week in the state tournament. She scored 23, 23, and 12 as the Lady Tigers earned a berth in Friday's state championship game in Hot Springs. So congratulations to Charlie and to Maura. Each Tuesday in the Northwest Arkansas Democrat-Gazette, we select a Boys and Girls Athlete of the Week. For more on these 2 athletes, check out their story at NWAOnline.com. Now that's it for this week's edition of Prep Rally. Next week we will have a recap of state championship basketball action, and we'll also take a look ahead to the spring sports schedule, which will be starting across the regions. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time on Prep Rally.